From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made, affordable, and where you'll never pay a service fee. Use the code BASH10 for 10% off your order. Sports Bash is also presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness for our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Sports Bash is also brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family. At the Embassy Diner, mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. By the offices of Dr. Anthony Ippolito at Chiropractic Care Plus. Located at 1 John Street in Babylon, Chiropractic Care Plus is the only choice when searching for Long Island chiropractors. Give Dr. Ippolito a call at 631-669-6221. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way, personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400 and tell him Sports Bash sent you. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media, the third annual Evening of Thanks Gala coming up on November 14th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. Very excited to bring Sports Bash to our new home right here at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. And thanks to everybody at Governor's Comedy Club Podcast, Tony Walker, the whole staff here at Governor's for the warm welcome here to our new home. 516-465-3990 is the number to call. We're going to be with you every Tuesday and Thursday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So we are very excited to get this new era of Sports Bash up and rolling. And make sure you're subscribing to Gov's Comedy Club podcast on YouTube so you can comment during the show and also be alerted when every time there's a new show on, you'll get an alert. So make sure you subscribe and comment throughout the course of the hour. And of course, we'd love to hear your phone calls at 516-509-8277. Coming up on the show, very excited. Our first guest here on the new show is Laura Albanese from Newsday. She covers just about everything for Newsday. Right now, she's on the baseball beat covering the Mets, Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. We'll talk to her about the Mets, about the Yankees, and she's also, and this is what I'm really excited to talk to Laura about because I've seen her at these events, she is a foodie. And we covered a lot of the same events. The Yankees media food tasting event, the Mets media food tasting event, and the Islanders media food tasting event. So we'll talk baseball with Laura, but I'm also really more excited to talk about a little food with her as well. Later in the show, an interview that I did yesterday with former NBA star Jason Williams. He's bringing his Rebound Institute program to Nassau County, and that'll help those who are getting another chance after addiction. For those who were with us on the old show, the weekday morning show at 9 o'clock, you'll know the name WizKid Vinny Laspanuso. We do this thing. We used to do it on Wednesdays, and now we're going to be doing it on every Thursday show. It's called Stump the Wiz. And what we want you to do, and Tony, you could send in questions too if you come up with a good question. You know, it's not a dictatorship. It's, we have a democracy around here. You can send in questions as well, as long as we don't share it with Wiz in advance. So we want you to send in your best sports trivia questions to the Sports Bash Media X, Instagram, or Facebook page. And if we pick your question on the show and you stump the Wiz, we give him 2 minutes on the clock. And Tony is building the clock right now, right? Tony is building the clock. He just got a degree from Seiko. He's going to, is Seiko still in business?
Sure.
It is, yeah, whatever. Timex, whatever you want to do, Bulova. He's building the clock. So we give Wiz 2 minutes to answer the question. If you stump him, if he doesn't get the question, you win a prize. Now today, the prize are 2 tickets to see the Islanders take on The Ducks at UBS Arena, October 29th. The question has been received. The question has been processed. You have not seen the question. Vinny is to my left. We're going to bring him in a little bit later on, but we're going to have Stump the Wiz later on the show. Vinny Tickets, one of the benefactors of this show. Not benefactor. Yeah, benefactor. No. Not benefactor. He's one of the money men behind the show. I think I could say that about him. Vinny Tickets from Ticketbash.com will check in to talk about the latest ticket news. We're going to have him on via Zoom a little bit later in the show. We'll check out the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We'll also have This Week in Sports History. This segment is presented by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner is located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. By the way, one of the best things about being here at Governor's and moving the show here into Nassau County, onto Hempstead Turnpike, or off of Hempstead Turnpike here in Levittown, is we are right down the block from the Embassy Diner. And again, they are a massive sponsor of this show. And all I want to say to everybody is, if you have never been to the Embassy Diner, go there. The food is outstanding. Gus and his staff will take great care of you. And again, if you mention Sports Bash, you get a free dessert with your meal. No questions asked. And we are hearing, it's not going to be today, but Gus is going to be stopping by from time to time with some treats and his nice words and everything like that. He's part of the Sports Bash family, and we're going to talk to Gus at some point. We're hoping he can come in on Tuesday of next week. We're going to see. But if you're around here and you and around 1 o'clock and you happen to smell like some really good food that has been cooking, it comes from the Embassy Diner. So we're looking forward to having Gus to be a bigger part of the show going forward. Before I get started, there's a lot to talk about in sports. And again, Laura Albanese is going to join me from Newsday in a little bit. In my conversation with Jason Williams from that press conference yesterday, the Liberty last night, because I'm going to talk a lot about the Liberty on the show today, because what an unbelievable scene last night. But I just wanted to kind of sum up how I feel about bringing the show here to Governors. We did a test run here. Right before the start of football season, we had Charles Davis from Fox, from CBS on the show, and I know Charles Davis, years and years ago from the Arena Football League. So we were happy to do a little test show with him that night. And I remember walking out of here, saying to Vinny Tickets and also to Wiz, I think we're going to do the show here at some point. I think this is going to be, because not that we were not treated very well at our old place, but it's just felt like the right thing to do to come here. The studios are great. The location is great. Wiz was insinuating to me off the air before the show that we moved the show here because I live a lot closer to Governors than I did to MacArthur Airport, where LI News Radio studios were. That might have, it made me happy. Listen, I like the fact that I just had lunch with my wife at home and I was able to get here in less than 15 minutes. So that part of it, is great. But this just feels so much like home, and we've already had a warm welcome. And for me personally, and I mentioned when I was on with Tony on his show last week, there's three things that I love to talk about on the air. Obviously, sports is important because the name of the show is Sports Bash. But if you don't already know me from my other platforms, whether it's on WFAN or Infinity Sports Network, anything else that I do, my Islanders Double Chili podcast, you know that there's three things that I like to talk about. I like to talk about sports, and I like to talk about family, and I like to talk about music, and not necessarily in that order, because family comes first, then sports, then music. I probably should have done it in that order right off the bat. But one of the other things that I've always enjoyed in life is late night television. And I don't watch it as intensely now as I did back in the day, because to me, one of the most fascinating storylines in pop culture were the late night wars in the early 90s. So it all kick-started, of course, when Johnny Carson retired. Then there was the battle for the Tonight Show. They wound up giving it to Jay Leno. Dave Letterman got pissed off. A year later, he bolted out the door to go to CBS. Conan got into the mix, then Jimmy Fallon, whatever. But I was, even though a lot of people thought it was a crappy movie, I love that movie that was on HBO, The Late Shift. Tony, you've seen that movie before, right?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I got Tony in the middle of his lunch, it looks like, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, but I always loved that show, and I was always fascinated by that. And the reason I bring that up is, in moving from LI News Radio to here, I think of something that David Letterman said on the first show he did on CBS. If you remember, he closed out on NBC, and he took the summer off. They had to fix up the Ed Sullivan Theater. And he opens up at Ed Sullivan Theater in August of 1993. Billy Joel was his first musical guest. But he comes out and he gets this big ovation from the fans at the Ed Sullivan Theater. And because everybody was waiting all month for him to start the new show. What was it going to be like? Are they going to bring elements from the old show? There was a whole thing. NBC had that whole intellectual property thing. Would he be able to bring the top 10 list? And he had to change the name of the band, Paul Schaefer. They couldn't call it the Most Dangerous Band anymore. But the thing that he said that sticks out for me today here on the first show at Governor's is like, he's hearing all the cheering. It's like, all I really did was take the summer off. So like, I was thinking about this since we ended the show last week at LI News Radio. And if people have been, waiting patiently for Sports Bash to come back on the air. Well, if you really think about it, all I did was take a week off. That's really all I did. Kind of like Letterman took the summer off. I just took the week off, and now we're all back, and we are so pumped up to be here at Governor's, and we hope that a lot of our old viewers will join a lot of new viewers, and we're going to have a lot of fun every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock. Great guests, and we're already talking to some other big names. We're going to hope to get some people in studio. If Tony will unlock the door in the back and let them in, we'll be able to do that. I know he's wants to make sure that there aren't any strange characters floating around here in Levittown, but we'll be able to get some in-studio guests. There may even be one next Thursday. I don't want to divulge anything just yet, but we're talking about a couple of things going on, and that's really one of the most exciting things about coming here to Governor's is the ability to have people on Zoom, like we're going to have Laura on today, and Vinny Tickets is going to join us from the very lavish Ticket Bash offices in Melville. He'll be on with us, and maybe sometimes he'll be able to come in studio and say hello to us once in a while, but we now have that Zoom capability, and that's going to be great, and also the in-studio guests are going to be a big part of the show going forward. I know that baseball, and you see I'm wearing all my Yankee gear today, and that brings about a story I've told before. Obviously, I'm the only Yankee fan in my house. My wife and my kids are Met fans, and it was a whole negotiation that my wife Cheryl and I had to do when she was pregnant with Bradley, our older son. So Bradley and Jared are Met fans because of my wife, and I got the Islanders, so it was a nice combination. We're both Jet fans, so the whole house is miserable most of the time because we're all Jet fans. But it is baseball season, baseball postseason, and a lot of excitement in and around New York with the Yankees and the Mets, both in their respective league championship series. The Mets losing last night 8-0, and we'll talk about it with Laura Albanese in a few minutes. And the Yankees will play Game 3 in Cleveland. The Yankees are up 2-0. They'll try and put the hammer down as the scene shifts to Cleveland for Games 3, 4, and if necessary, Game 5. But I want to start, because we're going to talk baseball with Laura in a little bit. I want to start by talking about, I just think it's a story that is so underappreciated in the New York metropolitan area. And if you've been listening to this show before, you know how much time we have devoted on the show to the New York Liberty. Because a great sports story is a great sports story. I don't care if it's the NFL or Major League Baseball or whatever NBA, whatever. If it's a good local sports story, I'm all about it. Because, like I said, it's not a dictatorship around here. No one's going to tell me, what to talk about on the show as long as it's not something vulgar, right? So if it's a good sports talk story that other stations and other outlets may want to shy away from, that's not me. Because I think the Liberty is a great story. And if you watched it, and I know a lot of people obviously were fixated on the Met game last night, like we were in our house. But I had the Liberty game on my phone while we were watching the Met game. And if you didn't see that shot, and I'm going to ask Tony if he can bring it up on the screen. If you didn't see this shot by Sabrina Ionescu, did I pronounce it? It's no, it's Ionescu. Ionescu. I know I always mess it up. Yeah, it's Sabrina, because I get my balls busted by Boomer and Gio when I pronounce names incorrectly. But I just want it's Sabrina Ionescu. Hey, for the idiot talking about the Liberty, he should at least be able to pronounce the names correctly, right? So it's Game 3 last night, best of 5 WNBA Finals. The Liberty and the Lynx tied at 1 game apiece. You have to remember how this series has unfolded, because the Liberty had an 18-point lead in the first game at Barclays Center and let it slip away in overtime. Then they almost blew another big lead in Game 2 at home, but they were able to survive and win. Last night, they were down 15 points, came back. The game is tied in the final seconds, and here's how Ryan Ruocco announced what would happen on ESPN.
Into Phoebish. 8 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter of Game 3. 4 seconds. Ionescu will heave and hit! And hit! Sabrina Ionescu with the biggest shot in Liberty history. 80-77 New York in front on a logo bomb. Minnesota uses the reset, a chance to answer with 1 second remaining. Williams has to get it in. McBride gets it off. That is it. What a comeback from the New York Liberty. They are 1 win away from their very first WNBA championship.
What an incredible shot by Sabrina Ionescu. There's action, but the whole time it's just let her have the basketball.
Outstanding call by Ryan Ruocco on ESPN last night. And what an unbelievable shot by Sabrina Ionescu, and from the logo. And I started to think about this. My son Jared and I were excited watching the game. My wife was kind of listening into us yelling because we were all watching the Met game too. But I started to think, when she hits that shot, how significant it was in New York basketball history. When you think about it, you had Allen Houston had that big, winning shot against the Miami Heat in the playoffs. Larry Johnson had the 4-point play against the Pacers. And I made a bold statement on X/Twitter last night. I said that may have been the biggest shot in New York basketball history. Not the biggest moment, because again, I got roasted this morning on WFAN by Boomer and Gio talking about this. I didn't say the biggest moment. I said the biggest shot. Because if you think about it, if she doesn't make that shot, and they have to go to overtime, and they lose that game, and they're down 2-1, Liberty probably don't win the series. Now they're up 2-1, and really have all the momentum. That definitely, there were 19,000 people in Minnesota last night watching that game. And it was like a pin popping a balloon. So if the Liberty can finish this off, and at worst case they come home for Game 5 on Sunday, that's why I figured that has to be the biggest shot in professional New York basketball. Because think about the results and the possibilities now. Larry Johnson hit that 4-point play. The Knicks went to the finals. They didn't win the NBA championship. Allen Houston, again, same thing. Knicks didn't win the NBA championship. Boomer this morning on FAN brings up, why didn't he bring up Willis Reed, in the NBA finals? I'm like, well, yes, he was injured. It was the moment. It was the moment that Willis Reed walked out onto the court, and then he hit those 2 shots, and then that was it. But what a great shot by Sabrina Ionescu last night. And good luck to the Liberty on Friday night in Minnesota for Game 4 to try to bring the first ever WNBA championship to New York. And if the Liberty pull this off, think about the 2 longest droughts that are left by New York teams. And it's the Jets, going back to Super Bowl III, and the Red Bulls, who have never won a Major League Soccer championship. Everybody else has won one in recent years. Giants, of course. The Rangers won 94. The Islanders in 83. The Nets. I forgot about the Nets. Sorry about the Nets. The Nets have never won an NBA championship. They did win an ABA championship, and that counts for something. So congratulations to the Liberty. A tremendous moment and shot by Sabrina Ionescu last night, and out of Liberty 1 win away from winning the WNBA championship. We're going to step aside for a couple of minutes. When we come back on the show, we're going to talk about the Mets, the Yankees, and some food with Laura Albanese from Newsday when Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, and Ryan Anthony. We'll come back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
At Chiropractic Care Plus, Dr. Anthony Ippolito has been helping Long Islanders recover from pain and injuries since 1993. Whether from auto accidents, work injuries, or everyday aches, they use proven methods to get you back to your best. Chiropractic Care Plus is located at 1 John Street, Suite 150 in Babylon, New York. Call 631-669-6221 to schedule your appointment today.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor. Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. I'm Peter Schwartz. Number to call later in the show, 516-465-3990. Make sure you're subscribing to Gov's Comedy Club podcast on YouTube so you can comment during the show and also get notified when there are new shows on the air. This segment of Sports Bash is presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Welcome back inside our new studios here. We are so proud and happy to be at our new location at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. And our first guest on the new version of our show is someone that I first met years ago, sitting next to her covering Hofstra football games. And now, Hofstra football, rest in peace. But she has gone on to so many bigger and better things and covering baseball and everything else, plus food for Newsday. Welcome in a good friend of mine, Laura Albanese from Newsday. Laura, it's Peter. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm sure you're doing better than the 45,000 or so people, most of them at least, at Citi Field were last night watching the Mets lose Game 3 of the NLCS to the Dodgers. Can you kind of sum up what that Mets clubhouse was like after that game last night?
I think I would describe it as a little bit funereal. It was certainly not, what they wanted for their homecoming. There's still this sense, it's kind of hard to say because there's still this sense, given how many comeback victories that they've had this year and just the position that they've put themselves in, that they feel out of it. This team never really does feel out of it. They always think that there's a chance. They always think that there's the next big hit around the corner. But that being said, being shut out by the Dodgers, which, great bullpen, kind of iffy starting pitching, 2 out of 3 games, not a great look. So some things are definitely going to have to change starting today.
No question about it. And this is a Mets team, like you mentioned, they've always bounced back. I think Carlos Mendoza mentioned it in the Philly series, or maybe even in the Dodger series too. Just, they get hit in the face and they find a way to punch their way back into it. And tonight, listen, every game is so important in a 7-game series, but when you think about the Mets situation right now, down 2-1, the last thing the Mets want to be put into a situation of is being down 3-1. So if there was ever a must-win that, in essence, wasn't a must-win, I think that would be tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. Luis Severino said it yesterday. If we win 2 out of 3 in New York, we're going to be in good shape. But if they lose 2 out of 3 in New York, it's going to be disastrous, frankly, going to the Dodgers. So they have Jose Quintana on the hill. They've got some hitters that have been struggling. Francisco Alvarez First and foremost, hasn't really looked great this postseason, but Quintana loves throwing to Alvarez, so he's going to be behind the dish today. They're not going to go with Luis Torrens. And, because Yoshinobu Yamamoto has reverse splits, they want to keep the lefties out of the lineup. So a lot of the lineup issues that fans had problems with yesterday, which, playing JD Martinez and even Jose Iglesias over Jeff McNeil and a guy like Jesse Winker, who are both contact hitters. That's not going to change as far as Mendoza said. Of course, anything can happen before first pitch. But as far as he was concerned, he was going to dance with the guys who brought him. He's going to keep going with the guys who have got him to this place.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, Laura, you know this from being in the business a long time now, like I have been, is that fans have a sense of wanting to push the panic button. When you listen to enough sports talk radio, people will call up and they think that they're smarter than the manager. They think they're smarter than the coach. Oh, you got to rest this guy and rest that guy. But I think, and sometimes a coach or a manager can be loyal to a fault. And I do agree with you on Mendoza. I mean, he's got to go with the guys that brought him to the dance. This is a group that has bounced back every time they've been down, whether it was at the end of the regular season or in the first round against the Brewers, then against the Phillies. I mean, I think in this case, I think he's got to stick to being loyal because these are the guys that have delivered for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think my only small gripe was I think Jesse Winker should get in there just because he's had a great postseason. And then the other issue is that, we're seeing some kind of non-competitive at-bats yesterday against Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler had a great sweeper. It was fantastic. But you're going into that situation. The wind was batting down these balls. There were a few balls from Pete Alonso, from Mark Vientos that looked like they were going out. And except for those moonshots at the end of the game from Ohtani and Muncy, the ball just wasn't flying. You got to hit it on the ground. You need slap hitters. You do want a guy like Jeff McNeil in there. That being said, he hadn't played in like 40 days. So what are you going to do? Mendoza's kind of in a difficult position right now. Any decision that he makes, if it works, he's going to be a genius. If he doesn't work, he's going to be another disaster. And that's the name of the game in New York. It's not necessarily fair, but that's just how sports plays here.
We're talking to Laura Albanese from Newsday here on Sports Bash. I'm Peter Schwartz. We're at our new home at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown here on the Governor's Comedy Podcast YouTube channel. So please don't forget to click and subscribe. Laura, what was your view like of the Ohtani home run last night? Because I'm sitting at home watching it on television, and there was like a hush almost over the building and from the announcers not knowing if that was going to be gone. And I think a lot of people were surprised that it wound up being a fair ball.
I mean, it had the distance. I was worried it was going to take out a plane.
It definitely landed in like Long Island City or something.
But fair or foul, I think off the bat, it looked pretty fair to me. From the angle that we were, because where my seat was in the press box, I'm slightly skewed toward the third base side. So it did look slightly foul, but I think everybody knew once it landed in that little walkway over there, that was definitely a home run. I think most of it was kind of disbelief. The idea that, they were only down 4-0. And this team, past Mets teams, they're down 1-0. And you're like, it's over. This team, you're down 4-0, even against a team like the Dodgers. And you're like, okay, they have a shot. And
they had traffic on the base. They had traffic on the bases the whole game and just couldn't come up with a big hit. Consistently,
like, again, some of the at-bats, some of the swing decisions weren't great. Buehler he was good Buehler yesterday, so I don't want to discount his pitching performance. But yeah, putting Tyler McGill in there, McGill hadn't pitched in 10 days, and he was kind of made to wear it after Reed Garrett came out. And so you're like, okay, are they conceding this game? You don't concede anything in the playoffs, but you also have to be smart about how you use your bullpen. And that moonshot, man, it felt inevitable at that point.
Before I flip over, and I know you're covering the Mets series, but I want to ask you about the Yankees. But before I flip over, what's your feeling on the rest of this series? Can the Mets still recover here, in your opinion, and make this a long series?
I think they have it in them. My biggest concern is the play that we were seeing yesterday in particular is not the play that got them here. We were looking at the defensive miscues. Luis Severino got nominated for a Gold Glove, and he had 2 defensive miscues. You need the bats to get going. There needs to be, it was funny. I was talking to Darryl Strawberry yesterday, and we're talking about the 86 team compared to the 24 team. I wasn't around for the 86 team, but he said something like, okay, yeah, this team is quirky and it's cute. And the 86 teams, we were kind of for lack of a better word, a little dirtbaggy. But they're both tough in different ways. This Mets team has proved itself to be tough. Yesterday, that spark wasn't really there. They need to reclaim it. So a great start by Jose Quintana could do that. Sean Manaea has people completely baffled. If you can get to a game 6, I don't think there's a starter I trust more right now in the NLCS than Sean Manaea. And after that, game 7s, I place no wagers on any game 7s ever.
Not a gambling person, huh, Laura?
No.
Let me ask you about the Yankees. And obviously they have a 2-0 lead going into game 3 later today against Cleveland. And listen, I'm transparent. You know me a long time. I make no bones about the fact who I root for, and you can see me wearing my Yankee stuff.
You don't say.
Yeah. Thanks. I just have not had a warm and fuzzy feeling about this team all season long, even through the ups and downs and finishing with the best record in the American League and even getting by the Royals. There's just something about this team, and maybe I'm just a stuck-up, obnoxious Yankee fan, although I don't think I am, but I just don't have a warm and fuzzy feeling. Let me ask your objective opinion on this. How do you see the Yankees now here the rest of this series? And would they have a chance against the Dodgers or Mets?
Okay, so I believe that the Yankees will either sweep the Guardians or come close to it.
Okay.
The Guardians team that I have seen in the first 2 games was fully non-competitive, and right now the Yankees are clicking on all cylinders. I was looking back at that 2022 team, the 2022 team that lost to the Astros in the ALCS, and their strikeout rate was incredibly high, and their pitching was inconsistent. This team, granted that team had a lot of injuries, this team is diametrically opposed to that. They get on base. They walk. Their starting pitching, by and large, has been good enough, which is important. And they're putting balls in play, which means that teams like the Guardians that were known for, being defensively sound are making really dumb mistakes because they're feeling pressured. And Stephen Voit has had to use his bullpen so much. I know they had a day of rest right now, but the backbone of that Guardians team, other than like Jose Ramirez, is that bullpen. And the way that they're using these guys, I do not think that they can outlast the Yankees. Are the Yankees better than any of the 2 NL teams remaining? That I don't know, because they have had a little bit of an easy road when they make it to the World Series, which I believe they will. They're going to be really battle tested. It's going to have to be a grind to get that championship.
Isn't it amazing, as much as he's been like a whipping boy for Yankee fans and even the media too, throughout most of his Yankee career, but Giancarlo Stanton, every time in the playoffs, the guy turns it on and gets big hit after big hit and home run after home run. And it's just amazing to me that, like, for all the people who bitch and moan about him during the season, they all get shut up, during the playoffs because he always comes through.
I was joking about this during batting practice. I'm like, every time the season starts, I'm hearing about how terrible Giancarlo Stanton is. And then we're going to be doing this all the way to the Hall of Fame, because look at some of this guy's numbers. Like he's if he keeps doing what he's doing, he's got a couple more years left. He's going to be one of the most prolific offensive powerhouses that baseball has ever seen. And his postseason numbers are really a testament to his ability to step up. And especially when you contrast that to Judge, he heated up in this last game. But without Stanton producing the way that he has, the Yankees are not in this position. And I do think Yankee fans, when he's hitting like $150 in April, it might help them to remember that when the chips are down, he produces.
No question about it. A couple minutes left with Laura Albanese from Newsday as she gets set to cover game number 4 of the National League Championship Series tonight between the Mets and Dodgers at Citi Field. I had to close with us talking about food for a couple of minutes. Because it's definitely a favorite subject of mine, as you know. And we were at 3 very, very big events in the last calendar year. One was the Yankees media food tasting event. One was the Met media food tasting event. And most recently, the Islanders UBS Arena food tasting event. Let me start with the Yankees and the Mets first, and we'll get to what the Islanders showed us a couple of weeks ago. What was your favorite new item that the Yankees had this year? And then we'll compare notes. And then also, what was your favorite Met item that they unveiled this year?
All right, it's like picking a favorite child. My favorite Yankee item has to be the porchetta sandwich from City Winery.
Okay.
It's close to the right field foul pole on field level. Just really delicious arugula sandwich. That stuff. City Winery is usually awesome. I don't like their roasted chicken, but their burger and their porchetta sandwich are top notch.
I like the Lobel steak sandwich, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah, there's no losers. By the way, there's no losers in this competition.
No, it's a classic. It's a little heavy for me because I'm there so often. Let's see, City Field. I love a Chitty's cheesesteak, and they have this brisket mac and cheese.
That was good. Yeah,
which is really, really, really good. And a lot of City Field, what was great? This thing will cost you $45, so save it for a special occasion. But Lobel's, not the burger. They have a surf and turf sandwich. The burger sucks. Okay. The surf and turf sandwich has steak, beautifully done with chunks of lobster, like the lobster claw on it. That thing is incredible. If you really, really want to treat yourself, or if you happen to be a millionaire, go get that.
Help me out, Laura. The female chef that was one of the celebrity chef that was there handed me what's that? That's it.
Burrell.
Handed me a chicken sandwich, and that was my favorite thing that I had there that day.
The chicken parm, she has chicken parm sandwich. Yeah,
that was ridiculous, unbelievably ridiculous. She hosts that Worst Cooks in America show, right?
Yeah, I've been watching her for years. She's a lot of fun to watch. She's a really great personality.
So when I met her that day, because my wife Cheryl watches that show all the time, and because I don't cook, so I would be a perfect candidate for that show, and I was trying to get her to book me on the show because I think I would be the perfect contestant since I couldn't. I was a failure at Success Rice, so I think I'd be the perfect person to go on Worst Chefs in America.
Give me the petition. I will sign it immediately. 100%.
And really quick before we let you go, at the Islanders UBS Arena, that I have to tell you, the Knish, which I think was through the roof. Chef Ted there did a wonderful job with that.
I gotta say, of the three places, the Islanders had the least amount of new stuff, but they had my favorite stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I really liked. So I'm not a big chicken parm person. You obviously are, but their chicken parm wasn't dry at all, which is actually kind of hard to find. And I know this is sacrilege, and I'm so sorry, but I really like their new healthy options, like that quinoa salad and stuff. Maybe because I'm there so often that I can't be housing mozzarella sticks every 13 seconds, but some of the stuff is really good.
Yeah, I listen. That I think. Look, there's not too many losers in all three of those places, but I think since that place opened, UBS Arena, they have had even down to the bare minimum thing that cause I obviously go with my family. The kids love chicken tenders. I mean, they have probably the best chicken tenders that I've ever had in my life at UBS Arena.
I'm 100% with you with that. UBS Arena might be hard to get to, but the food is fantastic.
Absolutely. Laura, I cannot thank you enough for spending some time with me on the show, and best of luck and have fun tonight at City Field, and hope to see you again somewhere down the road.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Laura Albanese from Newsday joining me here on Sports Bash. And before we take a break, and again, a million thanks to Laura for jumping on Zoom. Before we take a break, I do want to tell you about an event I went to yesterday. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman welcomed former NBA star Jason Williams for a special announcement as Williams is bringing his Rebound Institute program to Nassau County. I had a chance to catch up with Jason for a few minutes to talk about how he's helping those who have dealt with addiction, rebound, and get another chance in life. Jason, first of all, what does it mean for you to be here on Long Island in Nassau County with your program and to help establish some roots here on Long Island?
Well, the nostalgia of just being back close to St. John's and then being in Nassau County where, so many things that's happened to me in my life has happened in Nassau County. So just to be back here and being able to work with Bruce and being able to right now help some people get their commercial driver's license who might not need a second chance but need another chance because we all been through our second chances is just extraordinary for me.
Chance is the important word because obviously addiction has been such a problem. I know you've been through it before, but to be able to bring a program like this here to Nassau County and just help people get back on track, how important is that to you?
Well, this is my passion right now. I don't ever call anybody a client or a customer or a patient. I call them a teammate because I'm in it with them. And I know how and dire needs it is when you start isolating. The difference between isolation and solitude, right? Isolation is when you just get the resentments and you just go by yourself. I really needed and I had the help of guys like Curtis Martin and Chris Mullen and Charles Oakley and now Bruce and all the people that support us for the last 10 years of what we've been doing down in rebound to really come back and help others. And when I'm helping others and people depend on me to be there and help them get through their addiction, that's what gives me perfect peace.
And you heard Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, who you referred to, announce that donation to the program to be able to help people. There's obviously a huge opioid problem in this country. What did it mean to you to hear that donation being made?
Oh, it's great. And it's going to be great for the county also. Bruce is an extraordinary individual. As soon as we heard about this program, he jumped right on it. And of course, this is a program, like we said, giving a person another chance, men and women who might think that their life has no future, and putting them around positive people to help them, because Peter, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Yeah. They're going to have a family right now to help them get back on track.
You found a person just gets that right chance, that right opportunity when they've recovered from their problem. How important is that, just to give the person the right opportunity to kind of rehabilitate their life?
It's very important, because we're not talking about coaching, St. John's University, which is...
we'll get to that in just a second.
This is something right now where you're helping somebody with their life. It's not about how many points you score in a game. This is about, if you don't get this right, it's no do-overs in here when it comes to opioids.
Now, I'll bring this up because you brought up St. John's before, and obviously you're a former star there. You have to be pleased with the future of the program now with Rick Pitino in his second year, getting the program back on track. How excited are you for the Red Storm? I know it was the Redmen when you were playing for them, but how excited are you now for the Red Storm's new season?
We will always be the Redmen. Since we're in a political business and a political building also, we're going to have to say the Red Storm. But so happy to have Rick Pitino in, the best coach ever in college basketball, and he's doing the right thing. And like Coach Conasecca said, as long as he gets the players, it's going to be a great program once again.
Awesome. Jason, thank you for a few minutes. Best of luck with the rebound program.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, we thank Jason Williams for joining me yesterday at the press conference. Before we take our last break of the show, we want to welcome in a good friend of the show, a big phone caller on the old show, Glenn from Flushing. Glenn, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great, Pete. Congratulations on the new digs, and I'll be a faithful listener and watcher. I got to let you know, you're closer to your hero, Billy Joel's house now, too.
Yes, from Hicksville High School. We're right down the block.
And I'd be remiss without saying, because you usually alert me, but Billy Joel is now on Channel 17 XM for a limited time.
I have to renew my subscription to Sirius XM. So, see, that was one of my sticking points. Why I kept always trying to stop it and then renew it, because I was always angry that Sirius wouldn't just make it a permanent channel. So I'm still fighting the good fight, Glenn, trying to get Sirius to make that Billy Joel channel.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'll call them up. Yeah, they have a couple of shows. In fact, I have my son, of course, goes to school in upstate New York. They're playing Syracuse and Toronto. So I think I might want to make a special trip to see him up there at Rogers Center.
Yeah. How you feeling after that Met game last night?
Yeah, disgusting, really. But tonight I'm very onto, as Bill Belichick would say, onto another thing here. Yamamoto, or however you pronounce his name, I'm a little worried about him, Peter. How many innings can he go? It seems like everybody's coming back from an injury. Are you aware if he is also on a limited pitch count?
Dave Roberts said last night on Fox, and I would imagine the same is going to go for tonight. He did not want Walker Buehler facing the Met lineup for a third time. So I would imagine you'll see the same thing. He's got a deep bullpen, and I would imagine that the Mets would be best serviced to get to Yamamoto early tonight, because once they get through two times through the order, I think they're going to pull him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only good thing, obviously, we got to wake up our bats, but, we didn't use any of our good relief pitching last night, so we have them ready to go. And, oh, boy, I'm going to watch the Yankee game at 5.
Yep.
Get a little into it. That's exciting. I mean, what more can you ask for in New York than this doubleheader, 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock?
And the Islanders are playing tonight, too, so it's a big sports night again.
Oh yeah, yep. All
I
three
think
hockey teams.
I think the Rangers are playing, but I couldn't care less about them.
Yes, of course. You know, I have to say, the one thing I'll miss about the other place is the baggage carousel.
Well, you know what? Maybe that could be like another thing we could have Wiz do. We can have Wiz dress up like a baggage claim person, and we can just have him bring, like, you know, the equipment in and out, looking like a baggage claim person.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have to thank you guys. That was a fun year, and it's all meant to be where you are right now, back in your old stomping grounds, right down the street from
Absolutely.
East Meadow High School. And today was the 37th anniversary of Frank Viola, that whole deal with his opening night, the World Series Game 1, his wife getting married, all that. I mean, his brother getting married, that whole crazy thing.
By the way, and Glenn, thank you for the call. I do want to let you know we are in negotiations. I'm in touch with him. We are going to have Frank Viola on the show at some point.
Oh, well, he owes us. Yes, good.
Yeah, because he ditched us in one of the days at the old place, so he apologized for that. We're going to get him on the show, okay?
Oh, wonderful. Great. And best of luck. And hopefully I'll be down there. I'd like to see you guys live one day.
Yes, we're going to have a secret knock for you at the back door, and Tony will come over and open it up, but you have to bring food.
Oh, no problem. No problem. You just tell me what you want.
You got it. Thanks, Glenn.
All the best. Take care.
Thank you. We're going to take a really quick break. I know we're running a little bit late on the show. Vinny Tickets is waiting patiently, almost impatiently, to join us for his ticket segment. We've got WizKid here as well. We're coming back with more Sports Bash live from Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Coming back right after this. The Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
At Chiropractic Care Plus, Dr. Anthony Ippolito has been helping Long Islanders recover from pain and injuries since 1993. Whether from auto accidents, work injuries, or everyday aches, they use proven methods to get you back to your best. Chiropractic Care Plus is located at 1 John Street, Suite 150 in Babylon, New York. Call 631-669-6221 to schedule your appointment today.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment. Welcome back to Sports Bash. I'm Peter Schwartz. We are at our brand new location at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. 516-465-3990 is the number to call. Make sure you're subscribing to Gov's Comedy Club podcast on YouTube so you can comment during the show and also get alerted when our show is on and all the other great shows that you can follow here at Governor's Comedy Club podcasts. And Hershey and the Key I was watching the other night. They had a big guest, Ed Arzuman from WFAN, but a bunch of great shows here on the podcast channel. This segment of Sports Bash is presented by TicketBash.com, where you'll never pay a service fee. Use the code BASH10 for 10% off your order. Let's find out what is going on in the world of tickets as we welcome in TicketBash.com CEO Vinny Tickets, who joins us on Zoom from the palatial TicketBash.com offices here on Long Island. Vinny, the boss, how are you, sir?
Good morning. Oh, no more good
no
morning.
No more morning. I was, you know what? I don't feel bad about that because I was doing the rundown, and the last thing that I went back and double checked is I had to take out good morning and put in good afternoon.
There you go. So good afternoon, Peter.
Well,
hey, Wiz, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Vin. How are you doing?
Doing great.
We hope that you can stop by once in a while, at least to see the new digs. And I know you've been here before, but obviously when we talk about what's going on in the ticket world, certainly the Yankees and Mets being in the championship series is a huge ticket item. People have been going insane trying to get tickets for these playoff games. Tell me about what the market has been like, not just for the Mets, who are home for these games 3, 4, and 5, but for the Yankees if they have to come back for a game 6 or 7, and then ultimately the World Series.
Yeah, traditionally, game 6 and 7 for any sport, as we know, is always a fantastic experience. And I use the word experience intentionally because we all have to realize that, I really don't sell tickets. Although our company, we've been around for 25 years, we don't like to look at ourselves as a company that's selling tickets. We like to look at it as we are providing experiences that you could share with friends, family, business associates, and we try to make it as simple as possible. So the experience that we provide to people, we want it to be a seamless transaction. We want it to be a simple transaction. We offer a lot of ways to purchase here. You could go on our website, ticketbash.com. That will be launching our new site in the next 7 days. You could call our office. You can go online, use our text to ticket service. But more importantly, for the show's purposes, there are a lot of great values, only because today's game, tomorrow's game, I think the weather's playing into it. I think the fact that the Mets got a little bit manhandled last night, I think that's feeding into the price of the market and the overall inventory that's available. There's a lot of inventory that's available. So there's a lot of great deals. And because you have such a great platform, Peter, we are offering additional discounts to your viewers. So you could use the code BASH10. And number one, what really makes our service unique is every other service in America, when you go to the site, they add fees and they add charges to your price. The price you see is the price you pay, number one. We are the only site in the world where when you go to our site and you use your unique code of BASH10, your price goes down on checkout. So it doesn't go up by 30% or 20%. Your price goes down by 10% on checkout.
So, for example, if a ticket is $200, you get no service fees attached on top of that, plus the 10% comes off. So you're talking, an even bigger savings, not just with, saving the fees that other companies use, but that $200 number goes down even further.
That's correct. Yeah,
That's all.
And the other great thing about it is it's about price, but it's also about the service that you receive. We have a staff of 35 people paying attention to every order, paying attention to detail of every order. We want to make ourselves a very unique type of company that makes ourselves accessible to our clients. And I know most of the major companies out there, if I have an issue with them, I can't get somebody on the phone. So the great part about our site and our service is that you're dealing with real tickets, real people, real prices, right? And people that actually truly care about you as our client or our customer.
And I'm going to bring up one other thing before we have to say goodbye, because Wiz has been waiting very, very patiently for Stump the Wiz and This Week in Sports History, and we have to get to him. But you know how I feel about Billy Joel, and he just announced his newest concert is going to be at the Rogers Center, formerly the Sky Dome, in Toronto. And he has not been in Toronto in a decade. So this is actually a pretty significant announcement by the Piano Man earlier today. And I'm sure for those interested, if you're a Billy Joel fan here on Long Island or anywhere, and you want to make a really nice trip and see him at a great destination. I love Toronto. I went to college in Buffalo and used to go to Toronto all the time. That is a great city to visit, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of interest in Billy Joel tickets for that Rogers Center performance.
I'm sure we will, and we'll be very happy about that. How'd you like the new digs? I got to give a shout out to my buddy Tony over there. I can't see him exactly on this screen. But...
Well, he's here. He was having lunch during the show before, so he's doing a yeoman's work. I've been driving him crazy with all the bells and whistles to the show. I've never seen this guy sweat as much as he has sweated here. He was telling me last week how excited he was to have us here, and then he saw the rundown and all the mishigas that I put in the rundown, and he immediately has second thoughts of us coming here.
I doubt that. Tony's a sweetheart. We love him. Thanks for having us, Tony. Peter, thank you for putting me on the show today.
It's awesome. And we're going to have a regular segment on just about every Tuesday and Thursday, whatever's going on in the ticket world. Vinny is going to join us from ticketbash.com to give us updates on everything that's going on with tickets. Thank you so much for everything and keeping the show going. You and Ryan Anthony as well, our new partner in the program. And we're very excited to have him on board as well.
Awesome. Keep up the great work. Wiz, have a great day. Good luck on your question, Wiz.
All right. I have a good feeling about him today because usually if you watch the old show, you know that when I would give the question out and the question was so kept secret, I didn't even add it to the script. I have it on my phone. So if you saw me like looking at the phone, I wanted to make sure I had it posted. It is time for Stump the Wiz. And if you
before this week in sports history?
Yes, I'm changing it up. We're in a new place and I decided we're going to do things a little bit differently here on the program. So, for those of you who joined us on the old show, you know that we played Stump the Wiz, and he gets 2 minutes to answer a question. You submit your best sports questions to the Sports Bash Media X, Instagram, or Facebook page. If we pick your question and you stump the Wiz, you get a great prize. And today the prize, 2 tickets to see the Islanders take on the Anaheim Ducks. I still like to call them the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, but that's just me. October 29th at UBS Arena. 2 tickets to see if you get the Stump the Wiz. Lawrence Neal from Brooklyn is our contestant, and he has submitted a baseball question.
Okay.
You did not peek at my phone during the break, did you?
No, I was looking straight ahead.
Okay, here we go. There are 4 teams. Tony's going to have 2 minutes on the clock. I'll tell you. No. I'll tell you when to go.
Okay.
The key word is, and away we go. When you hear me say, and away we go, that's when we hit the music and the clock. There are 4 teams left in the Major League Baseball playoffs. The Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, and
the Guardians.
The Guardians. Correct. 7 players have played for all 4 franchises, right, that are left in the postseason. I want you to give me the name of the person who most recently accomplished that feat. Again,
and he's still playing right now?
That's not part of the question. Okay? Don't jump ahead. 7 players. See, now you're confusing me. See, he does this all the time. Wiz does this. He's done this a few times before. He starts to ask intermediate questions before we can start the clock, okay? Let me start over again, all right? Because, we're on a time constraint here. Actually, we're not really. I can think we're a little loose at 2 o'clock.
Of course.
We're a little loose at 2. No, I have a time constraint of 2:30 for other business, but here we go. 7 players have played for all 4 franchises remaining in the postseason. And for those keeping score at home, it's the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Guardians. 7 players have played for those 4 franchises. Give me the guy who accomplished that feat most recently. Ready? 2 minutes are on the clock. And away we go.
JD has only 2 of those.
Is the Jeopardy music up on there?
Can't
too?
also-
I can't hear. I can't hear
There's
it.
2.
I can't hear it, but it is playing. Okay. Sorry about that, people watching at
There's 2.
home.
Gallo has 2 of them. There's the thing about one that tends to just have 2 of them, not usually 3 as much. Those are a bit more rare. Why am I thinking that?
We're under a minute and a half.
Wasn't even there.
Once again, the question: 7 players have played for all 4 franchises remaining in the postseason. Okay, we need the person who accomplished that feat most recently. 1 player.
And they're not currently with the teams like they're still playing. No.
This player is not currently with the final team that completed the quadruple effect.
And then are they currently still playing?
I do not believe this player is active in Major League Baseball right now.
Okay, then not the other ones.
We're under a minute. 45 seconds? Yeah. 45 seconds. Lawrence Neal in Brooklyn is putting his Islander jersey on. He's putting on his Islanders hat. He's got the scarf that they gave out on opening night. 35 seconds according to Tony Walker. Down to 30.
Difficult.
Under 30 seconds to go. Tony has never experienced this kind of excitement here for any show at Governor's Comedy Club before. And he has seen it all.
I'm usually not.
15 seconds.
Usually I know this one. This one's a lot trickier though. This one's a lot trickier.
Yeah.
So a player that is no longer
4.
I give up.
Now we have to wait. Contractually obligated to have the score. That's it. The player we were looking for is also a player who had some success with the Long Island Ducks out here on Long Island, and I have his bobblehead at home, Rich Hill.
Oh, Rich Hill. That's right. Yes. Yeah,
So-
I didn't know he was a Guardian. I knew he was a Yankee, a Met, and a
He
Dodger.
was a Guardian in 2013. He was a Yankee in 2014. He was a Dodger from 2016 to 2019, and he was with the New York Mets in 2021.
Yeah, I thought he was with the Red Sox during that time. Like I know he was with the Red Sox for a bit of the time, and he had some really good years with the Dodgers.
Yep.
Mets and Yankees I knew about. I did not know about the Guardians, but granted, they had their name change and everything, and the color scheme is sort of similar.
Congratulations to Lawrence Neal of Brooklyn. You're going to see the Islanders and the Ducks October 29th. See, the great thing about being here at Governors is at the old place, we would have been kicked out the door already. We would have been kicked out the door because our time would have expired, but we do have the bonus 5 minutes that are coming our way, so it's going to mean that we can finish out what we have planned on this segment. It's time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new poll question every weekday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. Where does Sabrina Ionescu's game-winning shot last night for the Liberty in Game 3 rank in all-time New York basketball shots? We have 4 choices. Number 1, top 5, top 10, or it's simply just not a big deal. Those are your choices that you can go to the Sports Bash Media X Twitter page. And now, on the old show, it was This Day in Sports History because we were on every day. Now we're on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Wiz is going to be with us on Thursdays. This week in sports history.
I'll make up for myself for that blunder.
It's okay. It's okay. You still have a winning record overall.
No worry, it's fine. I got the one mixed up. Okay, but on this week in sports history, the New York Mets beat the St. Louis Cardinals 4-1 in the 2000 NLCS, and the following day, the Yankees beat the Mariners in 6 games in the ALCS.
I was at both games.
Really? You were both at the game 5?
I didn't stay for the Mets celebration. I didn't want to see it in person. I left.
But just that, of course.
It was also cold, too, and I had to make a train.
That, of course, was set up for the first ever Subway Series that
Yes.
featured the Mets and the Yankees. Obviously, there have been Subway Series before, back when the Dodgers and the Giants were in New York and they faced the Yankees. But this was the first one with the Mets. It was also their first World Series appearance since 1986. The Yankees, of course, won 2 back-to-back the previous 2 years. And, of course, we know what happened. The Yankees beat them in 5 games, but there could be a rematch. Who knows? Let's see what happens the rest of the way for the NLCS. I am pretty confident that the Yankees will make it to the World Series. It's 2-1 right now, Dodgers. I still have confidence in the Mets, but we got to see.
They
what
better
happens.
win tonight.
Yeah,
they have to win tonight. They're not coming back from 3-1 down, but good job. Welcome to the new program.
Okay.
Excellent job as always. Don't feel bad about Stump the Wiz.
It's fine.
So many people to thank, but before we get to that, I just want to let everybody know our next show is going to be on Tuesday, October 22nd, 1 o'clock here on the Governor's Comedy Club podcast channel on YouTube. And boy, I am excited. You thought we had fun with Laura Albanese from Newsday today? Wait till Tuesday. Legendary WFAN host Joe Beningo. Oh, the pain! He's going to join us here on the show via Zoom. I talked to him yesterday. He's all excited. He can't wait to talk Jets and Mets and Yankees and everything with us on the show on Tuesday. And I love working with Joe at WFAN and glad to have him on the show. And that'll do it for this edition of Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. Thanks to my guests, Laura Albanese, Jason Williams, and, of course, Vinny Tickets. Thanks to Wiz for spending some time with us. Tony Walker, unbelievable job for the first time through. We gave him the tutorial. Everything worked out well. He passed with flying colors, and we will have him back for the next show on Tuesday. Thank you, Tony, and everybody here at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Sports Bash is presented by TicketBash.com, the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, also sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, Dr. Anthony Ippolito at Chiropractic Care Plus, Bearcat Building Service, the Marty Lyons Foundation, and Collaborate Studios. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Sports Bash returns this Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Have a great day, everyone. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Mets.